That was Bills head coach Rex Ryan talking about his decision to fire offensive coordinator Greg Roman. I'm Adrienne Lawrence here, joined by ESPN NFL analyst Teddy Bruschi. Now, Teddy, he said this was his own decision and he thinks it's going to help the team. What are your thoughts on Rex Ryan's move? Houston, it came into last night's matchup against number 5 Louisville as a 17.5-point underdog. Well, Vegas sure took a gamble because the Cougars, they crushed Lamar Jackson and the Cardinals 36-10. Generally, when you have domestic violence, there are people in this world and around you and the family members and friends who are well aware of what's going on, but it's still one of those, let's leave it in the family, let's let them handle it kind of hush-hush. And so you have a situation here where you knew members of the Giants franchise knew about this. Also, you've got these documents that are essentially public documents or are accessible. And how hard did you have to work to get them? And I don't know if you all remember when his one-game suspension came out, it was kind of a what is this for? Because the league wasn't necessarily making it known. Thank you so much, Carrie. We are going to continue with that LA vibe here and talk about the Dodgers, who are opening the postseason today in Washington. I'm Adrienne Lawrence, joined by baseball analyst Doug Glanville. Now, Doug, we've got Clayton Kershaw, the ace there, going against Max Scherzer. So let's talk about Kershaw first. He's coming off the DL. He had a few back injuries. What can we expect? By virtue of the fact that the penalty includes paying the cost for the evacuation fee for the building you threatened. Oof. So for him to be charged with terroristic threats, Rivas, it's like, wait, what's going on here? But then we look at these other charges like aggravated assault, conspiracy, robbery. Those things carry a lot of penalty. We're talking up to 20 years in prison for each charge in some cases.
So in simple terms that people can understand like myself, why is Tom Brady able to keep this thing going?
Well, essentially what Tom Brady has done is he's thrown a challenge flag. He's asked the Court of Appeals, the entire court, all 13 judges, including the 3 judges that already decided this appeal, to review it again. Give him instant replay review. Tonight, it is winner take all. The 37th Game 7 in World Series history. And it'll be either Cleveland or Chicago holding the title when it's all said and done. Earlier today, Cleveland talked anticipation and preparation for what could be the game of their lives.
Adrienne Lawrence practiced law in California before joining our legal team here. Let's talk a little bit about the timeline when it comes to this civil case. What's the expectation typically in a case like this, Adrienne?
Well, typically in these kind of civil trials, and what the judge initially did was set aside 8 to 10 business days, which would take us through about October 14th or 18th with the Columbus Day holiday. And I used to practice in this court before this judge. He's very good at streamlining it. Yes, he indeed will be around to help them out. And he's just 32 years old, 12 seasons there, almost reaching that 13th, hoping for it and wanting it. But, you know, as he said, his body just gave out. What do you think the decision-making process was for him in terms of having to hang up the towel and not try to fight this?
Play review. Interesting football term there. So with that being said, what are the chances that the courts grant Brady's petition then?
Well, I got a baseball term for you. It's just as likely as an unassisted triple play. The chances of this are so small and slight because you have to convince 7 of these 13 judges that they should go ahead and re-review by taking a second look at this. And this is a court that makes it a tradition not to re-review cases. They don't take second looks. Washington's loss to Carolina last night, it was costly. Their chances of making the playoffs, it fell from 53 to a lowly 25%. But Washington's loss was good for Green Bay. Now the Packers have a 68% chance at making the playoffs. And that's according to ESPN's Football Power Index. With your very first Sports Center update of the day, I'm Adrienne Lawrence. The Tony Romo saga, it continues. Coach Jason Garrett said Romo's status for Sunday's matchup against the Steelers is still undecided. But sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter and Adam Kaplan that Romo won't leave the bench this Sunday. This Sunday night, it is Patriots and Seahawks. They meet for the first time since the Pats walked off with the Lombardi in Super Bowl 49. But this time, it's going to be at Gillette. And at 7-1, the Pats, they rock the best record in the AFC. And the Seahawks, well, they're atop the NFC West, albeit they're struggling at 5-2-1. You've waited long enough. The 2016 college football season, it kicks off tonight. And it's going to be West Coast action down under. I'm Adrienne Lawrence, and welcome into the Sports Center update. Tonight, Hawaii taking on Cal in Sydney, Australia. The last FBS game played in Australia, it was way before any of these players were born. That was back in 1987. So tonight's going to be pretty special, and you won't want to miss it. You can get your college football fix on ESPN at 10 p.m. Eastern.